Hello, my name is Mark Brink. I'm with the Office of Business and Financial Services, and we are here to demonstrate the Student Account Payment Request workflow system. Some of you may have joined us a few months ago when we demonstrated the concept that we were attempting to enlist, and I'm happy to report that we are here to demonstrate the nearly final project. So, without further ado, I'm going to take you through what you will see when you submit and review a student account payment request. So today, you would go into your saved URL, let's say, to get to the form, and it's pulling up here. So you would enter your username and password just like you do today, and you would see the form. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate a student here, and I'm going to go ahead and populate everything that's required. One thing I will point out, we have streamlined the form somewhat. We have removed the department manager email because no one was using it. We've also removed the requirement that you signify what campus you are on. And then we have also qualified payment types for the various funding informations. So we added the term qualified payment or non-qualified payment to each description, which is important when you do have a fund for a national student, because this section does specify whether it's qualified or not qualified. So now if you select conflicting answers, you will get a warning and it will not let you submit the form. So we've hopefully clarified that for you. Again, form is just like it is today. You can choose this academic term, you can choose the payment type, you can put in your brief description, this would also be a point to make that sometimes today we have found that requesting departments will enter information in the description that conflicts with the selection they made up here. Let's say that this was chosen, fellowship payment restricted to tuition and fees only, and the description read as books. Today, we are able to manually correct that, but in the future, because of the automation that we are putting in to speed the process, the department that receives that will just have to reject that back to you, because otherwise we would pay it incorrectly. So that is a change, but still hopefully a change for the better, because we are all striving to make sure that the students get paid as quickly as possible, and that's why we need the automation, so it can no longer do those manual fixes. You put in your fund code just like you do today, and hit review. And then it's going to validate what you've entered so far, give you any errors up here. So I forgot the foreign national section, so I need to do that. And then the FOPL Fund Oregon program and amount. And then here's the warning that I'm mentioning about conflicting payment types. So since I didn't select anything here, it's saying I've got an error. So I'm going to fix that so it's no longer conflicting. I'm going to change my chart to 1, put in my program and org, hit review. It'll do one final check just like it does today, and then I can submit. Okay, so today what happens from this point forward is an email is generated and it's sent to AR operations, accounts receivable operations, and they manually determine which departments need to review it, whether it's Grants and Contracts Office at UIUC, Maybe it's the financial aid office at any one of the three universities, or it's the university payroll and benefits department. They then manually route that and forward that through email. Those departments then review it and give the response back to AR operations. And then the transaction, if it's approved, is manually paid to the student. The AR operations creates a JV manually to do that part of the transaction. Then when the JV is created, they go in and create the accounts receivable transaction that actually posts to the student account. In all of those steps, you are left in the dark because you have no way of seeing the progress through the system. If you have a question about where it resides, you simply have to reach out to AR operations or one of the approving departments to find out where it resides. Also, once the student is paid, today you would have to keep that request in an archive somewhere on your system so that if you ever needed to refer back to it, you would have access to it. Our new system is going to resolve all of that for you. And you can access it straight from the form. So I've got a hyperlink here where you can go into the form, and this is the new system. So our default view is that you will see all of those requests that are currently in process. So these are all of my test scenarios. So you would scroll down, and you would also be able to then filter. So you could filter by those that you need to act upon. You could also filter by complete. So these will be your historical archive. So no longer you will have to keep those emails. You will be able to come into this portal and access all requests that you have ever submitted and view the status of it, whether it was approved and paid, whether it was canceled, or whether it was denied. Then you also have the capability here to filter by date range or input the UIN and then see all of those transactions that you have created for that UIN. So we're going to go back to the top, where you can also sort by any of these columns. So clicking once sorts it in one direction, and then clicking a second time sorts in another. So that's hopefully fairly intuitive. But then most importantly, you can see that request that I just submitted is currently in financial aid, and it's new for them, and it is in process. Below, you can see one that I did earlier today that is currently at USFSCO, otherwise known as AR Operations, and it's ready to be marked paid. Another one down here looks like it's been hung up for a couple of days. It's at University Payroll and Benefits. It's still showing as a new status, so currently they haven't done anything. Now, one of the features of this new system is that when a task gets assigned to one of the approving departments, that department is notified via email of a new task that needs their attention, and within that email is embedded a hyperlink that will take them directly into this system and directly into that particular request so that they can act upon it. In this scenario, since this request ID 315 is on its third day, at the end of the day, the department would be notified that they have an overdue task, and they would be asked to act on that immediately, because our goal here is to quickly pay the student and improve our customer service to them and make these payments much more quickly than we are able to today. You will also get an email anytime the student has been paid, anytime the request is denied, or any time that there may be more information requested of you. So let me take you through that scenario. All right, so what I'm showing you here is an email that you've received now from the system that's telling you that there is more information required from financial aid. So this includes the student's name, UIN, the request ID. It was your original reason for the request, and then any notes that the financial aid office has inserted. Here it just says more info needed and gives my username and the date that I did that. And then it also notes that if there's no response from you, the originator, within 5 business days, this will be canceled. Now, in the event that that would happen, we will email you a notice that it was canceled, and in that notice will include everything that you would have to resubmit. All of the fields that you entered originally would be included in that email so that it would be easier for you to resubmit. Once a task is canceled, there is no way to resurrect it. So, in this scenario, you've got an email notification that there is required information from you. You click on that and it takes you straight into that task. So now I have 2 options. I'm the originator. I can cancel this request, or I can supply that more information needed. And I'm going to simulate that I'm going to give information to financial aid. So now the system is working on reassigning that to financial aid. So momentarily disappeared from your screen, but you can hit search, and as soon as it gets reassigned to financial aid, then they will see it, and then you would be able to see here the status. Okay, so now you see that the task has been reassigned to financial aid, and it's showing as a new for them. They have again received an email notifying them of the task that needs their attention, and so now they can act upon it. You can go in to the task and see everything so far that's happened. So financial aid currently has it, so it's pending with them. These were their original notes, and then this section shows the information that you submitted back to them. Okay, so now we are back on our screen, and our task now you can see has moved on to USFSCO, otherwise known as AR Operations, and it's in process and it's new to them. So again, I can look on the task and I can scroll down and I can see exactly when financial aid approved it and know that it is in USFSCO's hands, which is the final step before payment. Okay, now you can see that the task is still assigned to USFSCO, but it's now moved to the Ready for JV step. So now you know that it's been approved by USFSCO and it's just in process of payment. And again, we can click on this and we can see that they approved it. So everything is going well for this payment, and the student should be paid within the next day. Okay, now you can see that the payment is now ready for the AR, so that's the AR processing that USFSCO undertakes to actually make the payment to the student. All right, and finally, you can see now that the task has been paid. It's marked complete and gives you the finalized date. You can actually go into it again and see that it's paid up here, and then scroll down, and if there were any notes added, again, this will be archived for forever. From this screen also you can then start a new SAPR, and that just takes you to your familiar screen that you used today. And that concludes the demonstration for the student account payment request workflow.